Hello everybody, it's Ed here from Metric Mogul again, helping you with Google Analytics, GTM and other analytics things. So I've done a few tutorials now on Enhanced Ecommerce, and this week, or this day in fact, is no exception. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be tracking a couple of extra bits of information about these products. Basically, I want to create a report in Google Analytics that breaks down these products by whether they contain meat and whether they are microwavable, so that I can group them together and see whether the favorite products on my site are microwavable products or not. So I'm going to give you an example. This is what the report looks like. So you can look at it two ways. So first of all, I've got this can micro, which is a custom dimension I've created, and it's true or false. So all the products that are microwavable, they've been viewed 8 times, and all the products that are not microwavable have been viewed 1 time. Therefore, I might surmise that people on my website like microwavable meals better. So I can take that knowledge to the marketing team or to the product team, and they can develop more of those type of product. Also, if we had product revenue, if obviously on my fake site I don't have a checkout, but if we did, then we'd have the revenue for these two as well. So we'd be able to see which product type was generating us the most revenue. I've also got a little meat one here. So this is contains meat and true and false. So there's, again, people seem to prefer the meat products rather than the non-meat ones. And we can drill into this. So if I drill in here, that then breaks the report down by the product name, sausage and mash or roast chicken. And you can see that the sausage and mash is by far the favorite product on the website. So this is the kind of report that we're going to be building. I'm going to show you exactly how we do that using Google Tag Manager. So what we're going to do is whenever someone sees a product, at the moment I've set up GTM so that whenever someone views a product, I send off an Enhanced Ecommerce product detail impression. So that is all working correctly. What I've got to do now is I've got to add in another custom dimension that says contains meat or not. Now obviously I've already got a category here which kind of does the same thing, but the category might not always be meat. So let's say I had, I don't know, let's say I had a burger, you know, the category might be beef instead of meat. So I still need that extra bit of information about whether it contains meat or not. And maybe, do you know what? I'm actually going to do another variable called microwave, and this is whether you can put these products in the microwave or not. Okay, so that's our challenge. So let's get down to it. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, as always, I 100% rely on a data layer, and I advise you to as well. So this is my website, and I have each product, product 1, product 2, get those in order, product 3, here we go. And so what I need to do, I need to add in some data here into the data layer. So I've got my product object here. I've got all this detail. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do contains meat. And product 1 I know is the pasta bake, so obviously that's false. And I'm going to do microwave, oh no, how do I spell this? Able. Right, that is rubbish. Microwave, oh my god, I don't know how to spell this. Can micro, there we go. That is better. Can micro. And let's say the pasta bake we can microwave. It's a ready meal. Awesome. So now I've got those. I'm going to add them to the data layers of the other products. Oh, that's not good. Sort out the formatting. Formatting is obviously important. Being a bit OCD. All right, contains meat. This is the chicken. True. Can microwave. No, this has got to go in the oven, so it's nice and tasty. Excellent. And the final product. Here we go. The sausage. Contains meat. Yes. Can microwave. you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say this is a microwave meal as well. So yes, you can there, you can microwave that. All right, so let's refresh this and give a little look at our data layer. I'm going to inspect, get to the console, have a look at the data layer. Okay, this is obviously not a product page, so there's nothing there apart from the default GTM ones. Let's have a look at sausage and mash, data layer. There we go. Here we go. Page type product, and contains meat true, can microwave true. Excellent. So for step one, our data layer is in place, and as with always, if you're not a developer and it's not your website, you will have to give your developers these specs of what you want in where. Check out app.datalayerdoctor.com in order to create a nice documentation so that you can give those to the developers. All right, so now it's your job. We've got to now pick those variables up into GTM. So I'm going to go over to my variables tab. You can see I've already got quite a few. These were from earlier tutorials I've done. I'm just going to copy one. Again, my naming convention DL dot because it comes from the data layer, and can micro. And in the data layer, it's called product.can micro. There we go. Save that. And the final one we need to add is dl.product. I've forgotten what it was. Contains meat. There we go. Contains meat. Excellent. Contains meat. All right, so check these are working. I'm going to preview my GTM. Refresh the page. Let's go and look at some chicken. Here we go. Have a look at the variables, and I can see where's it gone? All right, so can micro undefined, contains meat undefined. So something is not quite working here. This is why it's always good to check as you go along. All right, it's because I hadn't refreshed the page properly. So I've now refreshed it. It was being cached by my browser, and you can see can microwave false, contains meat true. So the data is being correctly picked up from the data layer into GTM. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is we need to get GA ready to accept these two extra dimensions, can micro and contains meat. So head over to the admin. You need to go down to custom definitions, custom dimensions, and I'm going to set some up. So we've got can micro. Now, important, what scope should you choose? You should choose product, and here's why. We are going to be sending these custom dimensions, these attributes, along with an enhanced e-commerce call. So at the moment, whenever someone views a product page, as you can see here, I'm sending a product viewed, an enhanced e-commerce variable data. Okay. Now, if you send it along with this, it has to be set to type product, otherwise it won't be stored correctly. You have to set the variable to scope product. Most of the time you will want hit in the session, but in this particular case it has to be product. You can read up the docs on why that is. So anyway, you've got can micro, and I'm going to set another one which is, oh, I keep forgetting what this one is. Contains meat, of course, contains meat. Again, this is a product variable, activate it. And we've got to remember these numbers. So can microwave goes in number 1. Ooh, contains meat goes in slot 2. And the rest of these are inactive, or they should be. No, let's turn off. You can't actually delete custom dimensions, which is why, again, I have a convention. If I'm no longer using them, I disable them and I set the name to inactive so that people know that they can overwrite them. All right, so that is now set up. So let's head back to Tag Manager. Now, as I've discussed in a previous video, What you ideally want to do is you want e-commerce set up by just ticking this use data layer, right? And the trouble with that is that if you've got that set up, you can't put in extra custom dimensions because Google, well, the way we're doing it now, we want to pick up some data from the data layer and send it to Enhanced Ecommerce. You can't tick that. Again, I haven't really got time to go into why that is, but just trust me on it. And instead, the way we're doing it is we have ticked Enhanced Ecommerce, but we're using our own product detail view variable. So you can look at my previous videos as to why this is, but essentially this data layer is not in the format that GTM expects it, right? Google and GTM have their own version of a data layer structure that you should use. And it starts with sort of e-commerce, and then it's got detail, and then it's got products. I'm not using that structure. I'm using the example where you've already got a site, it has a data layer, and it's not in the format you want, and you need to manipulate it into the format GTM expects. So that's why I've not ticked use data layer, and instead I'm using my own variable within GTM. So let's have a quick recap on that variable here. So here you can see this is the structure that GTM expects. So all I'm doing is I'm reading variables into the data layer, into GTM from the data layer, and then I'm constructing this new variable which GTM expects and inserting all these values as such, and then that gets sent off. So we now need to add in our 2 extra variables. So you'd think you can do something like this, can micro, and we know we've got this from the data layer, .can micro, there we go. And we've got contains meat, like this, dl.product.contains meat. All right. Sadly, this wouldn't work because these variables here, name, ID, price, category, brand, variant, they're all dimensions within Google Analytics already. Can micro and contains meat are not. These are new ones that we've set up. And as a result, GA won't know anything about these. So what do we do instead? Well, we have to replace these names with names that GA does understand, and that is CD and then the index number. So can micro is in slot 1. So you have to do CD1. Oops, CD1. And contains meat is in slot 2. Therefore, you need to do CD2 like that. Save that. And let's preview it and see what we got. All right, unknown variable, blah, 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 can micro. Okay, see I've spelt can micro wrong, which is good that it actually tells me that. That's a useful thing. There we go. Save that. Let's preview this time, fingers crossed. All right, we're good to go. So I'm on the roast chicken. Let's give that a refresh. We get the product detail view fired. We can look through, and we've got CD1 now is set to false, and CD2 is set to true. So that is looking all good. Notice I've set these as strings rather than actually Boolean values, just for the sake of it, because that's what GA wants. Once you've created all the stuff in GTM and you've got your devs to implement the data layer, and the data is flowing correctly into GA, the next step is to create our custom report. I've got one here that I've already built. This is the one I showed you right at the beginning of the video, but I'm just going to show you how I built that. So first of all, we have product detail views as the metric. That's the metric that gets increased because of the Enhanced Ecommerce product impression code that is being fired from GTM, and product revenue is tracked automatically when a transaction goes through. And we've got these two dimensions. Contains meat is the one that we created earlier, and product is one that is collected as standard by the Enhanced Ecommerce code. And just to refresh your memory, oops, let's go into variables. just to remind you where that data is coming from. So here we go, name. That name is what populates this product name, and the contains meat is coming from this value here, dimension 2. Okay, and product detail views, every time this code gets fired, product detail views gets incremented once. And the same is true for the micro. The only difference between these two is that the can micro has been, the contains meat has been replaced by the can micro. And that gives you this custom report. So we can see that of all the microwave meals, if we drill into this one, we can now see again the sausage and mash is the favorite, followed by the pasta bake. Now you don't have to create a custom report. You can also see this data within the standard e-commerce reports, but it requires a bit of playing about. So if you head down to conversions, e-commerce, product performance, and shopping behavior, this shows you the products, and we can flip through the SKUs. Remember, SKU is coming from this variant here. So that's the SKU. Product category, that is being pulled from here, product category, and so on and so forth. And we've got the brand in there as well, Farmer John and Google. And I can break this down now by my custom dimensions. Can we microwave this stuff? So the Google stuff, yes we can. Farmer John stuff, no we can't. And there are the product detail views again. So as I said, you don't have to create a custom report to see this stuff, but for those people who are looking, who are novices at GA, if you're setting up reports for novices, they might not know to add this secondary dimension. So it's always best probably to set up the custom reports, because then you can just share the link with the people, they can add it into their reports, and they've got the data right there. So there it is. I hope you found it useful. If you want to get more GA tips, or you want to hire me as a consultant to help you guys out, then you can do that. Just head over to metricmogul.co.uk.